time is such a scam.
The day just comes and goes. And you're like, so
So that's it.
that's it.
Maybe
I
that.
think it also takes like some sort of restructuring of mentality,
Mm.
right? To realize that even though it's just a day, your anticipations should not really end
Mm.
when the day comes and goes.
But also knowing that the new that you're in right now is going to birth a new adventure,
Right.
new situation.
It is a new year and it is given new year, new me.
me.
Like, yo, I mean, I'm glowing. Moyo is glowing.
And I have my shades on
I
because
mean, like,
we
it is
see no
giving.
evil this
So,
year.
I mean, last year we're giving you guys millennial aunties, Gen Z wannabe. This year we're giving you Gen Z goodies.
I love that new term. Gen Z goodies.
Yes, right?
It's hot, hot,
Woo!
hot this 2024. And this is such a great time for us to say Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, guys! Happy New Year this year. They say what's no grief for who? No grief for anybody.
And that just brings back the song Anybody. Hey, we all want to hey, anybody.
They said knock on what thing? Knock
Knock
on
on
something. So that at
something.
least the head go reset,
If they
the brain
reset,
go.
if they try
Factories are
anything.
trying. No grief for anybody, but grief for your helper. No say no grief, no grief, no grief.
No-
Helper go
no go
say
shut your
okay. Be like
helper
say you
out.
don't make up. I never to make them like that, but we're on our way.
Guys, we must sincerely welcome you to a year where we can trust you're going to have a blast. You're going to smash your goals.
Right.
And how much more do we have to say, if not to also look back to all the good stuff you did with us last year,
right.
2023.
Right.
We got introduced to you in 2023, and it's been such a great journey
Right.
since that time up until now, and opening the year with you again, ensuring that you're welcoming us to your rooms, your homes, your doorstep, wherever it is you're watching us, is such a blessing. And we trust that 2024 is going to unleash even greater conversation right here on the Yeyetalk podcast. We're glad to be back. I mean, you can see us grinning from year to year.
Like,
But again, this is a point where I
it's-
just probably remove my shade so that
it's
you guys can see
something about the new year, though. Like, it doesn't matter how badly or how well the previous year ended. Once you like just step into January 1 of a new year, it's like
restart,
yeah, it's like
refresh.
a restart button. This is a chance to start over. This is a chance to achieve your goals. So personally, I'm not a New Year resolution kind of person. I'm not one of those people that will say, "Oh, my New Year resolution is I want to be a better person. I want to change from this. I want to be like I don't do all of that because I feel like sometimes when you put that pressure on yourself, it just ends with January gra. After January gra, the rest of because when the year begins to unleash what it really has in store for you, sometimes you begin to slow down and
slow
shake
down.
and just out of fear. So but for me personally, I'm more of a okay, I've set goals for the year, right? I've set goals for I'm not putting I may not necessarily put timelines
Right.
to when these goals will be achieved so that I don't put myself under unnecessary pressure. If that's how you roll at you to put timelines, that's really great. Like personally, I don't put timelines sometimes. Sometimes I put timelines, sometimes I don't. So that I don't just put myself under
pressure.
unnecessary pressure. And
And-
most of all, I'm like, God, and I me get plan, but at the end of the day, now you go still run
Are
am.
you with the master planner? Talking about resolutions, I think that might just be a great basis for our conversation
Right.
today, knowing that we have kicked off a new year, and whatever time it is you get to receive this particular message from us today, one thing for sure is as long as we're in January, February, oh mommy, I go say they wish you a happy
Happy
new
New
year.
Year. Somebody said that once it's January 7th, so wish Happy New Year. Happy New Year!
What's that? We go shout
Don't be
time.
better
Take
ways I
it
go
easy.
do. Don't agree. We don't agree.
If I even on Valentine's Day, so if I say
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year. But basically, it just comes with the joy of knowing that you've transitioned into something new, something fresh. And of course, being our first time basically gracing your screen, your homes this year. It's very nice for us to dwell on that particular conversation of how your year is starting out and some of the things you've decided to do in this new
Mhm.
year of 2024. So, we're going to stick with the conversation on resolution. We're
Right.
going to stick with the conversation on themes. We're going to stick with the
Mhm.
conversation around prophecies.
Mhm.
And yes, we're not going to dive into all the many, many trainings and courses that I've been seeing
Dun,
with
dun,
people saying,
dun.
let me teach you how to make money in 2024. Kilo
Like, what's
day.
going on? I've been
What's
seeing it everywhere.
happening?
Like,
What's it?
is it that we didn't have that wisdom? People didn't have that wisdom in
I don't
2023. Like,
understand.
what's
The
going on in
pressure is
2024?
getting worse. But again, let's get into it. Resolutions, like Mide rightly said, it is definitely a beautiful thing to have. Trust me, you can't do the same thing the same way and expect to have
The
the
same
same
results,
result.
right?
But again, as my six Mide, and I'm being the
My
five,
older
I
sister.
think that
She has not sent me dollars, sure, but okay.
being the five, your girl Moya, I think that I actually, to be very honest, share your thoughts on this. I used to be the type of person who I was always scared about transitions,
Mm.
especially thinking about the fact that time is such a scam,
Oh.
if you want to put it that way.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
I think the whole idea for me started with my birthdays at a time where I wake up that morning, I get the special attention, and then before you know it, it's all over.
Yeah.
Everybody has moved on. And I'm like, why? How did it finish? I also had that thing with Christmas and New Year
Mm.
breaks at the time. And I was always like, so it has finished. So this is the whole hype. So all the decoration, all the Christmas noise, everything, it has ended. So going into the new year at that time, I used to be very scared. I'm like, so we are especially time where we dey go school now, secondary
Right.
school, like so school has resumed. So that's it. So that's the end. It really was, and I know some people are still living in that reality where you allow the fear of getting into something new or the
Mhm.
fear of time passing or ushering in a new day or a new season um grab you so much that you even fail to understand that you're supposed to start running with the new reality that has
Right.
that has been presented to you or that you have right in front of you. And if you're one of such persons, I think it's a good time to tell you to snap out of that thinking because again, you don't come, you don't come.
Don't.
There's
I mean,
nothing you can do about
it's like
it.
major celebrations. For example, like you mentioned, your
Mm-hmm.
birthday or your, celebrating your wedding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, most times, it takes like an entire year of or like some months and everything to plan out everything. You've
Mm-hmm.
anticipated Christmas. I'm going to do dirty December. I'm going to do clean
Ah,
December. I'm going to
ah.
travel. I'm going to go for concerts. Blah blah blah. Like
Mm-hmm.
you've been saving up like from the beginning of the year and stuff, and so the day just comes and goes and you're like, so
So that's it.
that's it.
Maybe that's
But like, I think it also takes like some sort of restructuring of mentality,
mm.
right, to realize that even though it's just a day,
Mm-hmm.
right, because you've been anticipating, like whatever your anticipations are, your anticipations should not really end
Mm.
when the day comes and goes. Your anticipation should be
Right.
like, oh, if so, for example, we're planning for a wedding. My anticipation is not all about the fun I'm going to have during the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
It should also be about how my life is about to take a new turn and
Mm-hmm.
like just basically welcoming that
The
new
beauty
change,
of the reality.
like the beauty of the
And that should
reality.
be the same thing too for a new year, if you ask me, because I mean, you should not, like Mide rightly said, you should not stick only to the reality of, oh, so that's it. January 1 has come. Everybody don't go back to reality. We
A
are
lot of
back to
people
work.
resume
We are
January
back
too.
to, do you understand? We are
Yeah.
back to work. We are back to everything. I mean, that shouldn't just be how you see it, because if you see it that way, it comes with a lot of pressure. It comes with a lot of dissatisfaction because you're just feeling like, oh, so what is it? So that's it. So we are now here. So the pressure has started again. I think you should always see transition as a time to also maintain gratitude.
Right.
Gratitude for not only being able to transition into the new, but also knowing that the new that you're in right now is going to birth something new, something, new adventure,
Right.
new situation. Of course, again, there'll be moment of tears.
Like,
But
I mean, people need to realize that a
hmm,
good year doesn't always mean that you wouldn't have your ups and downs. A
hmm,
good year just means that regardless, everything is working out for your good,
yes, no matter how
right?
tough it
Yeah, no
is.
matter how tough it is, it means that everything is working out for your good. Because I mean, even like I'm going to go all Christian spiritual stuff
Hmm.
right now. God never promised us as Christians that
That's all gonna be smooth.
that it's
Mm.
going to be a smooth ride. What He
Hmm.
promises is that He will be with us through
Through
the
the
storm,
fire,
through the
through the
fire,
storm.
right?
Hmm.
So if you're looking at, so, oh, I lost my job this year, or maybe the year started on a very good note, and
Mm.
maybe in May you realize that, oh, I lost my job. What kind of year is this?
Mhm.
Or I lost a family member, or something like something terrible just happens. I mean, we're not praying for anything terrible to happen, but when terrible things happen, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is
Mm.
a bad year, because you've
Mm.
had some good times. You would also have some
Yes.
bad times, but I just need you to, like, just look on the bright side. Everything works out for good.
For
You may not
good.
understand it in the moment. You may
Mhm.
not understand it at the moment, but everything really
A-
just
And I,
works
and I
out.
think that's why coming on board to have this chat with you guys, because this is a chat from we
Yeah,
to
yeah,
you on the
yeah.
Yeyetalk podcast. One thing I said to myself that I'm going to encourage and maintain over and over again is that we wear a lifestyle of gratitude. And I saw a particular product yesterday from one of the brands that I follow, where they made this jar and they called it Little Drops of Gratitude.
Mm,
When I saw that, I'm like, this could be something I want to buy.
yeah,
Not necessarily because I don't know how to recount my blessings, but because it just gives like an intentional face to the entire process, where write out when you don't, like, someone also said that this year, take more pictures, document more moments, and then when you look back to those times that you are not having it smooth and you compare it with the times where you have it smooth, you'd almost realize that you have more reasons to be grateful
yeah,
than those down times that you have. And of course, it's just like the internet. It will not always be 100%. There will always be downtime. So for all the downtimes that you have in 2024, you shouldn't necessarily see it as this year don't cast,
mm,
or
mhm,
this year is worse, it's
mhm,
crazy, it's my worst year.
mhm.
Because inside of those downtime, there are moments for you to be grateful for. So whatever ways you want to maintain or wear on gratitude this year, I think you should be very intentional about it. Maybe you want to be the type to get your little jar of gratitude, where you can just keep writing those good things that happen to you and put it in a jar, so that when those downtime come, you probably go back into your jar of gratitude and you're seeing those great stuff that's happened, and then you just have the strength
Right.
renewed to push through that particular stuff. Because trust me, it just gives me the memory of what 2023 was like. When it comes to health, when it comes to crazy circumstances, 2023 was hard,
Mm.
but at the same time, it was still my best year yet. Do you understand? So it can be annoying when those storm comes. But you know what they say about storm, right? When you keep going strong, or when you decide to face it head on, you
Yeah,
would see that there is victory at the other
at the
side.
other
And that
side.
should be what you should maintain, the posture you should maintain this year, regardless of the challenges that comes your way. But let's quickly get into the theme Nigerians have decided, because I
Ooh.
don't know how we got here. But I know that we are here, and
No,
it's funny to
no,
see
no
that
grief for
it's
anybody.
time for everybody. It's trending in churches, it's trending everywhere in the workplace, it's trending among brand guys, PR guys. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but again, I like to see the God factor in
Mm,
everything.
mm.
So yeah, well, I mean, I think it started December last year. I don't even know
Right.
where the thing originated from. I just started
Mm.
hearing it everywhere. No grief for anybody, right? But like I said, I like to see the God factor in everything, because that particular term, it may have started from a place
Cruise.
of cruise,
Mm.
but you realize that it kind of like passes on a message
Mhm.
that this incoming year we're entering, you need to be resilient.
Mhm.
You need to be resilient. And
Mhm.
so resilience doesn't come from taking no for an answer.
Right.
So when they say no grief for anybody, it's not taking it to the negative in the negative way of if you I mean just in the negative way, it's just taking it in the place of this year I am going to be resilient. This year I am going to face my goals headstrong. This year those territories that I thought that maybe
I couldn't
I couldn't enter. The truth is I might not even know how I want to conquer. But you know what?
I'm gonna
do
there.
it. I'm gonna do it. So it's like really, I think that no grief for anybody really is resilience, because I have a very strong feeling. I have this theme. I have a very strong feeling that I feel like this year, to be honest, may not. I don't know how last year was for a lot of people, because for me, last year was my best year ever so far. At the same time, it was the year where I felt the most rejection. I felt rejection to my core. But it was just like it was like. Yeah. But like when I counted all my blessings last year, I realized that last year I really had things easy. Like everything was coming with ease. And the truth is 2024 we may not have it as easy as we did in 2023. But we will conquer more. We will achieve more goals
through resilience.
Right. And you realize that 2024 is that year where you realize that you are way more than you thought you were.
I totally agree with you. Like, in fact, 100%. And we've started saying it, right? In the sense that I've seen a lot of people share bits and pieces of how just standing their ground,
right,
and holding on to that thing. Because see, usually we do not have a lot of people have something they are running with. Some people do not just care about having a thing for the year or having something that they can use as a charge for themselves. But it looks like everybody seems to be on the same page with this singular theme.
Exactly.
No grief for anybody.
And keep pressing, and keep pressing, keep pushing.
And I also love that one way or the other, even in churches, they found a way to incorporate that should I say that particular I would call it theme of phrase, right, into their yearly goal and all that stuff, prophecies and all that stuff that we usually have. And it makes a lot of sense, because for young people, especially people who do not necessarily see a way to digest a particular thing when it's coming too strong or when it's coming like my people are too serious. They are seeing more sense in the cruise version of this particular theme, even though it's still sending out a very strong message. So it's looking like at the end of the day, there is a theme that cuts across the young, the old, the Gen Zs,
and across industries.
Across industries as well.
Like you mentioned in churches, right? I remember Overture, we call it Overture in my church, crossover service. And the theme for the year is actually Occupy. And then Pastor says, I'm sorry, Apostle says, like my pastor,
goodness, such a church girl.
My pastor says, this is the Joshua generation. It means you're going to fight to get territory. And then he just randomly says, no grief for anybody.
You know.
Because you see, you will fight. It might not come easy, but you will fight. Right. And God will give you the victory. Because, like, basically, just keep pushing. Push. No green. If they push back, you to push. You see, if you apply for a job and they give you rejects the rejection, my friend.
That's what I was going to tell you right now, that I saw that particular part where people have started to implement it in the most interesting ways. And it gives me goosebumps to see that. Like I said, not a lot of people have things they run with in the course of a new year. This is about the first time I'm going to see everybody just say, I am going to push. I'm not going to allow any form of limitation. And that rejection thing just came to mind when as I was going to say it, we're going to say it as well. Because when I saw that tweet online and I just read the entire thing about how the girl got a rejection mail from a job offer, and then she rejected the rejection. From the story, of course, sometimes crews have day online, but from the story, I was told she was asked to come in, like, we want to meet this crazy person, because there were not just one person who had tried that rejects the rejection thing. There were a couple of people, and at some point, it feels like a lot of people were using the same rejection. It was one person that started it.
The others would probably just be crews. But then I also want to add that in as like, I mentioned earlier that in as much as we're saying no grief for anybody,
Right.
like, I mean, some people are also overdoing this thing in terms of, so for example, you have maybe I want to employ a graphics designer, for example. I know you don't have that much experience, because I've worked with people with experience, and I know how much they charge. And
Right.
then you that is upcoming, you are charging about the same thing,
And you don't have the
and
expertise.
you don't have the expertise, right? So that's not the part where I say no grief for anybody, because at the end of the day, you also have to, make
Match
the
up.
sacrifice and match up. You have to gather your experience, so that, because we're also not taking for granted the work that other people who have gotten high up there have. We're not taking for granted the work they've done, the sacrifices they've made and stuff. So when they say no grief for anybody, we're not talking about pursue the people that can actually help your destiny.
No grief for anybody in this sense. Of course, you know that for every positive thing, there's always a negative, right? And I know that a lot of people, some people rather, not a lot of people, are beginning to kind of tap into the negative as well, and that's why I love that as much as we are getting this generic theme out together, the positives, people are pushing the positives more than the negative. And that's why you would see that the police kind of took it overboard, and then they started releasing statements here and there. Don't get onto this no grief for anybody. You people have to stop it because this, because that, because of course there were negative aspects of that. But that's not to say that you should try to hold on to this particular theme, and forget that and forget that there are still work, or there is work to be done.
And there is also due process. Due process. So
yeah, especially people who want to go into offices and they say, please, can you hold on a minute? It's not your turn. And they're saying, no grief for anybody.
You'll follow the process.
What?
While you are being resilient, you follow the process.
Yes,
because even self, as you know, they grieve for them, they don't go grieve for you.
Yeah, so.
But sometimes better agree, make Sakpa self say me self, I don't go grieve for you, because Sakpa self no one grieve. It's true, as we are doing no grieve for anybody, Sakpa they say I don't grieve for anybody. So you have to really just apply wisdom in these things. There is due process. Follow due process. Yes, be resilient. Yes, push on. Yes, press on.
But do what you have to do.
Do what you have to do to get what. Don't be rude about it. Don't be nasty about it.
And I think that it's also a time for reflection, if you ask me, because as much as we all have a lot of things to say about our year, how it went, how it what we got out of it, what we anticipated, if we got what we wanted, and all of that. I think that reflecting will also help you understand in what areas you shouldn't grieve for even yourself. Because there are things that you would have probably noticed you did in 2023 that did not work.
Right.
And it's only right to have a switch or a change so that you can get better results this year. So in areas where you should not grieve for yourself, excuse me, you also need to start noting those things right now. Are you a procrastinator? No grief for yourself. Are you a lazy person? No grief for yourself. Are you supposed to get your task done in 3 hours, but because you shall like to drag, you are extending it to 6 hours? This is the year where you should not grieve for yourself. You need to push even yourself, as much as you're trying to get results from people, from structures, from systems or places. You should also get results with yourself. And I think that's also a very interesting part of this particular thing, because again, like we said, the theme is just so balanced on all levels. It's so apt, and it cuts across a lot of things. And if you begin to measure those things right now, you'd understand that there are so many things that you can do for yourself, even in this new year, that would help you get instant results early on, so that you don't have to struggle a lot in the course of the year. But away from the no grief for anybody
just before
theme,
you do the away from the no grief for anybody, the long and short of everything we have just said about no grief is do not settle for mediocrity. And especially if that mediocrity is coming from yourself. You need to be self-aware enough to know that, okay, I spend too much time on social media. No grief for social media. You
Mm.
need to exactly. I spend too much time watching K drama.
Mm.
I spend too much time on streaming platforms. I
Mhm.
spend too much because you need to also know because the truth is we have 24 hours a day, yes, and
Mm.
it is good to get some relaxation moment, yes, but
Mm.
you need to balance it up. If you realize that your relaxation moments are taking way more time than your productive hours, then
Right.
you say no grief for relaxation moments. It's true. So we just need to strike that balance.
Mhm.
2024 is a really special year.
It's
It's a
special
special
and
year.
it's also very critical.
Exactly. So
Like
don't grieve
someone
for
rightly
mediocrity.
pointed out, there are going to be a lot of changes this year with systems, with structures, especially in countries, the powerful countries of the
Mm-hmm.
world. They're going to have shifts and all of that. And of course, we are still enjoying our own shifts.
Yeah, you just need to be sensitive.
So you have to be
You
very
have to be
sensitive
sensitive
in all areas, in
areas,
all
right?
aspects, so that you don't you are not an hindrance to yourself at the end of the day.
Right.
And the no grief for anybody, we also saw it in the positive light of that woman who trended on social media,
Mommy
Mama Z,
Z.
who's no grief for our own self was the reason why she drew a lot of favors to herself. Just maybe we'll get Mama Z on this podcast.
Just maybe.
Just
Should we?
maybe. Mm.
What y'all think?
Watch out for that. That's me. That's just letting you know that this year we still not go grief our choice of
But
guests.
what did you think about that entire? I mean, I'm not talking about how we escalated to people, now helping out, which I think is really amazing. But like,
Right.
what did you think about the initial story of how waking up by?
You know that's going to be like an entire topic on its own if you want to sit on this couch because again, to each his own. But we'll get back to that conversation. Hopefully, well, if we decide to
Bring her
bring
on the
Mommy Z
show,
or
yeah,
someone else on the
yeah,
show,
to
who
talk
will probably
about
be
it.
talking about, roles of a woman and what sacrifices
That
women have
women
to
have
make
to make.
in order to put their home together or, get the attention of their husbands and all that good
Right.
stuff in between. But again, as we begin to
Wrap
wrap up
up.
the conversation today, I think it's also important that we talk about ensuring you do not pressure yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, from the 31st of December,
Uh,
I've started seeing people put out a poster. From January, my class is holding from 10th of January to 11th of January. Come and learn how to make 1 billion naira. It's oh, I'm like,
but did you see even
yo.
when threads came up? Threads has not spent 24 hours in Nigeria.
People
People
were doing
say how to
learn how
put
to use
content.
thread. I'm like,
Even Mark Zuckerberg was still learning how to use thread.
you
he
understand?
has not figured it out completely
Who
yet.
gave you people manual for 2024? Where did you see it? Why do you think that all the trainings you're currently advertising is what people need to get a good start in 2024? Because I don't understand where people used to see manual and pass questions.
But I think it still boils down to no grief for anybody. They are looking for ways to make money. Do you know they grief for Sapa? No. You think Sapa is your mate?
Actually.
Because you will find people who would actually pay for it. So you won't
A
blame.
lot.
You won't blame me if I decide to put.
Timothy book fully booked.
Exactly,
Sold
so-
out courses.
Exactly. So you
It's
can't blame them.
selling.
They are trying to make money.
But I think that if you fall into the category of people who are genuinely looking out for other people, you're genuinely looking out to pass on knowledge, it's all good. At the same time, let people know that there is no pressure. Let people know that results are relative. I think that's where we
Exactly.
make a lot of mistake because it worked for you doesn't mean
it will
that
work
it's going to work for another person if they
that
do a
same way,
copy
yeah.
and paste.
Exactly.
Different people would eventually get to figure out their own journey. And that's where I also have, reservation about how people feel that telling their own story would help other people just copy and paste and get the same results. No. Telling your story, holding your courses, sharing your experiences are just part of they're just a tiny bit of a big picture because again what it does is supposed to help people
It's supposed to
stay
inspire
at-
people.
stay alert,
and motivate people.
yes, inspire, help them stay alert, help them be sensitive to their own journey and pick out the little things that would help them on their journey. So all ye coaches, this is not the time for you to want to force things down people's throats. This is not the time for you to make people feel like they are not getting it right if they don't have 1 million things they want to achieve in 2024. This is not the time for you to start putting pressure on people's children on how to make money. And please relax. Let us be calming down. Yes, you have to start early, but at the same time, you need to pace yourself.
Exactly. And the truth is, if you've set goals for yourself for the year, you may or you may not achieve all your goals. And that's okay.
That's
because
fine.
Guess what? We go again in 2025 by God's grace.
Yes.
If we don't finish it this year, we go again. The point is we are not green. So the fact that something did not work out this year, the fact that something did not work out last year does not mean that is the end. We go again. When people fail in school and they have a carryover,
They go again. You add it to the next one.
Because at the end of the day, you find out that once school is over, when they graduate eventually, 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, they cannot, like, whatever happened in the past at that point in time,
gone.
the shame or how you were feeling, it doesn't matter anymore, because now
time
you have
wipes a lot of things.
It wipes away a lot of things, because right now all you can feel is the victory of not giving up. All you can feel is the joy of the success, and then you begin to appreciate the journey, because sometimes you realize that if you did not go through what you went through, you probably would not be where you are
Very
today.
true.
And sometimes you go through the things that you go through so that other people, like how did they used to say it? I walk so that you can run.
And then I run so that you can fly.
Exactly. Because sometimes our journey, sometimes we see everything and we just like we just put ourselves at the center of everything. We think everything revolves around us. Sometimes you go through stuff not only because of you, but because of other people that are coming after you.
Right.
And so in that way, it makes sense to see yourself as a vessel. It makes sense to see yourself as a conduit.
Right, as pastor.
It makes sense to see yourself as a conduit, as someone who, because I went through this, because of this happened to me, another person doesn't have to go through, can have it easier.
Yeah.
So you're part of someone's success story in that sense.
I totally agree, Pastor. And
Thank you.
yes,
Call me Pastor Mide, bro.
as we wrap our thoughts together today, remember, no pressure.
Yeah.
No grief for anybody.
Yeah.
Maintain resilience in 2024. Keep pushing boundaries, smashing down walls, because it might not entirely be easy, but you will get those results that you desire.
Exactly.
If you hold on.
Yes.
Hold
Let
on.
this year be the year where you shock the people who thought that you couldn't amount to nothing. See, let this year be the year where we shock our haters. Normally I don't do haters.
Shock your haters.
We are shocking our haters. We are shocking those who did not believe in us. We are shocking ourselves for not believing in ourselves.
Right. That was
Right.
day. And on the Yeyetalk podcast, you can trust us to also not grieve for you. Because
Yes.
if you don't watch
You
any
must
episode,
watch.
we are
You
coming
must
to your
watch.
doorstep. You will see us
You
in your
must
dream.
watch.
But again, thank you so much for the love. It promises to be
An
a very
amazing
fantastic year. We can tell you for sure. In fact, we got here really super excited to sit on the couch again to talk to you. And this chat, of course, definitely is our own gift to you. A very tiny little reminder that you should keep going in 2024, because it's going to only get better and better by the day.
Yes.
We are your Double M, and this is how we wrap up
How
our
did they do that?
thoughts. Don't try it again.
I should not do it this year.
Don't try it again.
No, that's is it not ululated?
No, it's not ululated. It's
Ululated.
no, don't try it. That one ain't Tasha. Guys, your Double M's, we're back with our seriousness, but you already know that everything we say here on the couch, no matter how fun and cruise it sound, there is always truth in it.
Yeah.
And we promise you to do a lot more of that this year, bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
So the next time we come your way again, remember, this is just basically a chit chat on resolution, on pressure, goals, and all the good stuff that you have going on in 2024.
New Year once again.
Yes, Happy New Year!
And don't forget to catch us on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
AR Brill on YouTube. ARBRILL.
On YouTube.
See that bell that is there? It's not decoration.
Subscribe.
It's not decoration. It's
Subscribe.
functional. It actually rings.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more, so that you'll be notified when a new episode drops. And
Follow
of
us
course,
on
we are on
Instagram.
social media,
Yeah.
all the social media platforms. I beg your pardon. So yeah.
Yeyetalk underscore podcast.
On
Yeah.
Instagram and yes, TikTok. We see our videos flying all around.
Uh-huh.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Gracias.
And another thing you should do this year, even more than you did last year, is to drop your comments
Yes, engage.
and let us know who you would love to see on the couch with us every week when we come your way on the Yeyetalk podcast. Guys, we don't want to go.
You can see we've been prolonging this outro from one outro to the other. We've been prolonging it, but we have to go.
We
This
have
is
to
where we draw the
go.
curtains. But again, happy New Year once again. Wishing you a
Yes.
prosperous year. Wishing you a year filled with fulfillment and a year that is marked with
You know, start
endless
crusade.
possibilities.
Guys, we have to go now.
Bye.
Bye.